It up. Hello, party people. We're back. What's going on, everyone? Sorry we're late. We had a couple of technical issues. It wouldn't be us if we didn't have a couple technical issues.
Hey.
But we're back. We had a week off last week. We gave everyone a week away from us so you could hang out and watch our friend Michael Bland and Dan Spiffy Newman do their podcast. They were kind of back on for a bonus episode they had not been on in a while. And we needed a week off because I had a bunch of shit I wanted to do. We're going to talk about some stuff that I did. You were seeing some pictures. You were seeing some pictures as the intro music was rolling. Those pictures were, I spent the last, basically, I'm going to say 4 days, kind of redesigning the front wall of the studio. So basically where you are. That wall, there was...
I can roll them over right.
There's a diffuser in the center. The sides are kind of winged out, and it's just large bass traps. And then in front of that was everything. So there's the TV that's mounted to the wall, which is my Pro Tools monitor. That's still there. And then in front of that TV on the floor was 2 sets of speaker stands holding up 2 pairs of studio monitors, 2 on each side. And then there's this, I have subwoofers as well. So I had 2 subwoofers that were kind of centered basically right in front of the desk, all out on the floor. After talking to Zach about the soffit mounting thing and doing all the studying and reading and that whole thing, kind of decided to go for it. He started doing it at his home studio, and basically in real time, he's texting me and just like, man, it sounds great. It's doing this. It's about, it's doing all the things we thought. Like I said, he said, I can't find a drawback. So I decided to do the same thing. So on, I don't know, Friday night, maybe Thursday or Friday night, I moved the desk. I took down the speaker stands. I pulled all the wires off to the sides, and I sat in this chair with nothing in front of the wall, just an empty wall, and just started really thinking about it and took out the tape measure and was trying to figure out, will this work? How much room do I have? Blah, blah, blah. And I decided I was going to do it, and, basically was like, okay, well, once I start ripping holes in this fabric, like, it's on, back together. And
I figured out why.
no speakers, no nothing, that means no work, no nothing. So I kind of decided to go for it, and I turned on the juice, and I thought it would take 2 days. It basically took 3.5 days.
So
which,
there was an audio drop in there.
Oh,
That's,
no worries.
yeah.
Well, you lost me somewhere in there. If you
It's
need
back.
to know something,
It's
let me
back.
know. But
In the photos we lost it. But.
oh, gotcha. But yeah, so you saw some photos, yeah. And so basically that's what I did. I ripped open each side of the front wall. I was able to leave the center alone, but I opened up the 2 wings completely, pulled back the fabric, ripped out all the insulation completely. It's packed full of a thing called rigid insulation, or 703, Owens Corning 703 for the studio nerds. It's packed full of that. So I ripped it all out, made new boxes, made new soffits, mounted the speakers. It was a big job, and I did it all myself, and it came out really good. I got literally 2 pieces of trim left that I need to do. No big deal. I can see a couple little staples and holes in the fabric over there. But it came out awesome. I literally just started kind of doing my first listening tests today. It sounds great. It sounds different. I'm learning about, what's different about it. My studio monitors do have some controls in the back and dip switches, and depending on what setting they're in, whether on a meter bridge or a speaker stand or now in a soffit mount, there's some different settings for that. So I got to do some playing with that. Subwoofers are now also in the wall. They're no longer in the center in front of me on the floor. They're up and into the wall, and they're in the corners. So it's just different, you know. It sounds a little different. Sounds great. Joe's listened a little bit. We were listening to music kind of as we were getting all the bugs worked out. It sounds awesome. I know I want to adjust the subs a little bit and just kind of fine tune it, but so far really happy with it. And also it really opened up the room. We got another probably almost 2 feet. I'm now maybe 18 inches, almost 2 feet closer to the front wall than I was because the speakers are off the stands and back in the wall. So you are also probably seeing a slightly different view tonight, which now have to figure out how to mount the lights, and the camera's different because the desk is moved and everything's moved. But progress, evolution, we're doing the thing. Sounds good, really looks good. So I was telling someone, like, that's half the battle. I mean, obviously that's a joke. It's a recording studio. It doesn't matter what it looks like down here at all. It has to sound awesome down here. But if you're going to hang out in a room for 10 or 12 or 15 hours a day, you want it to kind of look cool too. So I'm stoked on it, though. I think it looks awesome. So
Way more space.
way more space. Yeah, I mean, again, we're in the basement of my house, so it's not the biggest room, but every time you gain another foot or whatever, it feels good. So the side rack moved forward. Yeah, I mean, in the last couple of weeks, we built this rack back here, which you've probably seen, or maybe you haven't.
It's much more
depending.
prominent
There
now
used
in
to
the
be
shot.
another-
I kind of
oh,
like that.
Right,
Yeah.
Let me light
Super
up, let me
tight.
light up the gear for you, peeps.
With the Trini Lopez up front, like we can kind of see some
There you go.
stuff back
We'll
there.
turn the shit on.
Yeah, there you go.
Turn the shit on, pretend we're using it. But yeah, I used to have this other rack that was kind of tall. That was like a store-bought one or whatever. We built that. We put the speakers in the soffits. I now have access, because the soffits are larger. I never had room to mount more than the 2 sets of speakers before. I have 3 sets. I still have my NS10, my Yamaha NS10s that I've had for, I don't know, 20 years now or more or something. But now that the soffits are the way they are, I can actually accommodate all 3 sets. And I measured it out. So it's like, basically, I didn't even tell Joe this, but this is my math, and I think it worked out pretty cool. So like, they say the sweet spot when you're setting up studio monitors there's rules, but there's not, but whatever. They say the sweet spot distance-wise, for those who might want to know, is 67.5 inches. You then put those speakers at exactly 30 degrees, so you have an equilateral triangle, and you want that 67.5 to kind of end up, kind of right behind your head. So if it was a perfect triangle, your head is inside of the pinnacle of the triangle or whatever. So when I designed these boxes, I made 67.5 inches exactly at the seam between the Adams and the Gentle X. So that is you know what I mean? Joe, you with me?
I'm right.
So like right where the line is between the 2 cabs, that's the magic number. So theoretically, they are both perfectly riding the magic sweet spot, and then the NS10s are a little bit wider. But anyway, so yeah, big week of construction. I'm tired. It was a lot of work, up and down.
Yeah, a lot done. It was a war zone.
It was Joe came down. It was a total. I mean, it just is like I said. You open up these walls. Behind these walls is sheets and sheets and sheets of 2x4 fiberglass, and like, you can't touch the shit. You can't bump it. You can't anything without a plume of dust coming off of it. So it was a war zone down here. There was sawdust, fiberglass dust, drywall dust, because I cut a new hole through the wall. Another thing that I did was I changed the way the cables are routed. So there used to be a bunch of cables on the ground. Now there's this whole new kind of, I don't know, cable trough, kind of this thing that I made where it's all hidden and they're on the wall. I don't know. I went nuts, man. I went to Menards and
It's vibed
I
up
went
in
nuts.
here.
We tweaked it up. We made it a little bit nicer. It was a lot of work, but yeah, feeling good about it. So that was kind of, I don't know, that was the last few days. Haven't really been working on a lot of music because we were working on the studio, but now we can get back to the music. We got some mixes to do for a couple different artists, like right away, actually. One for my dad is now in a band. I don't know if I've mentioned that to the stream. He's been in many bands over the years. He's I've mentioned before on the stream for sure that he's the reason I play music. I grew up, he was a bass player in bands my whole life. He's now playing bass in another band, a new band with some buddies of his, and it's, we were joking about, or not even joking about it, but I showed the stuff to Brad, and it's like, yeah, this is my dad and his couple buddies, and, my dad is in his mid-60s now. All of the guys in the band are, and you play the tunes, and like Brad's like, dude, I'd buy this. This is this is really good.
Totally. I can't wait to actually buy it.
Right. I mean, it's just, and I guess it makes me proud. I hope, you hope as a son of a musician, you hope that you're doing the right thing and maybe your old man or mom or whatever likes your tunes. But it's cool now to be an adult who's playing music for a living and like, I'm surrounded by other musicians and a lot of my friends like music and that's what they do. So when I show them my dad's band, a lot of dudes' dad's band are like playing Journey covers out at, Maplewood Mall or whatever. And that's all good. But to show my dad's band to my buddies and have them be like, fucking, hey, this is killer. It's like, all right, it's pretty cool. So we're going to mix one of their tunes. I'm going to try to show you some of their stuff at some point. I got to ask them if that's cool. But they're called the Ghost Particles. They also have a great name. Somehow they figured that.
That's a fantastic name.
They're just cool. It's like somewhere between Ryan Adams and Tom Petty and I don't know.
I mean, that pretty much nails it.
Yeah, that's the two ones that I hear. It's like if Ryan Adams grew up and wasn't a dirtbag and started writing Tom Petty songs, it would sound like the Ghost Particles. Something like that. Yeah, so we're working on that. Michael Bland and an artist named Ryan that he works with quite a bit. They just sent me a track. I got to start working on that. So we got some stuff to do there, which is good. Tonight, what else do I want to say? We played a couple tunes during the intro tonight. If you're wondering what those are not what we're working on tonight. Joe just decided to cue up some music as I was outside with the dog and getting ready to come down and do the stream. So you heard a couple tunes from my old band called Attention. You heard, what did they hear? You heard
Perfectly Clear Skies.
Perfectly Clear Skies, and before that, what the hell is that song called? Your Heart. You heard Your Heart.
Yep.
Both are on the
Through the Wire.
Through the Wire album. Thank you, guys.
Whose band is this?
I know. I wrote and recorded all these songs, but I have smoked a little bit of weed since then, and I've forgotten a couple details. But thankfully, Brad has not, so he's there. Yeah, but the band is called Attention.
Jarnstrom's in the house.
Yeah, Dave, the drummer, is in the house. We're going to, down the road, this will all start to unfold here on the stream a little bit, but so Attention was a band for many years. Started in, when did we start, do you think, Brad? Like 01 for sure, maybe even 2000?
Yeah, it might have been 2000.
2001-ish, somewhere in there. We started in there, and then we were off and on a band, I don't know, 15 years, basically, give or take. I haven't been a band in a few years now, but just a couple of weeks ago, myself along with Dave, who was the drummer of the band, Jeremy Burgo, who's the original bass player of the band, and then Chris Johnson, who was kind of the second guitar player of the band. We all got together and went over to Flowers Recording and re-recorded or started to re-record an old tune. Just kind of for fun and to, get the old band back together, as they say. But we had a good time doing it. We got some drums and bass done. We're going to go back there later this week and start working on some guitars. I did have Brad there I had Joe there for the first session, and he caught some video. Brad and Joe are also going to go over there with me this week when me and KJ are going to work on some guitars. So we're catching footage of all this stuff over at Flowers. It's not really a live broadcast situation, and it's not really convenient for Joe to kind of, there's a decent amount of equipment here to pull off this stream and to pull all that shit over there and set it up and jump on the internet and try to do it. Just wouldn't work, really. But we're catching footage of it, and we're going to show you that on the stream one way or another at some point as we start cutting it together, whether it's all together at the end or maybe we'll make some blocks between now and then. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was the intro music you heard, the band Attention, my old band Attention, and you will see more about us in the future. Like I said, we're kind of going back in and re-recording an old song just for funsies, for shits and gigs, as they say. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then tonight is pretty freestyle. We got something fun to show and to work on, and we will get there. But we're just taking it easy tonight. I finally have set up. I haven't looked at it yet. Oh, I should start looking at it because questions are being answered. Dave said we started in 2000. There you go. I'll find it someday. I remember specifically, like, probably the first image or photo that was taken of Attention was before we even had Eric Hansen, who was our original second guitar player. It was just me, David, and the other Jeremy who played bass. And it's when I still lived in Milwaukee, and we had a Christmas tree set up in the corner, and it said, like, Happy Holidays from Attention. It's the three of us, and I believe Dave is, like, fanning out a plate of cookies. That's how I remember it. So, yeah. First
Would
image.
love
First
some
image was a
cookies.
holiday
Yeah,
card.
yeah. Dave, if you can get some cookies over here.
Right. Dave's in the chat. Brad's putting up some links to stuff. Let's see here. Should I look at this chat just a little bit? I'm going to just scroll back. I've been doing a terrible job of paying attention to the chat. I feel bad about that. Me and Joe were also talking tonight. Often Joe will try to pay attention to the chat, and he's answering, but it's as if because of the way we're logged in and shit, he answers under my name. So he's like, that feels weird. Like I'm answering as you, but I'm not really you. Like
I don't like that.
He's not asking me, whatever. So I'm going to try to pay attention to some of this stuff. So let's see, Zach Norton in the house. Zach is the guy who I keep mentioning who helped me build this place and talked me kind of through and into doing these soffits, so Zach's going to come over tomorrow as well. Another cool soffit side note or whatever. He's got the software to do the thing. You put a microphone in the perfect position here in the listening position. You run these crazy sound sweeps through the room. We put up a quick clip on Instagram a while back of this happening. You basically shoot the room, as they call it, and you can see kind of what's going on. So we have done that before with where the desk was and the speakers were on the stands, blah, blah, blah. Now the speakers have moved. The desk has moved. He's going to come back. He still has the files from the last time we scanned the room. So we'll rescan the room tomorrow and figure out what got better and what maybe got worse or what's different and just how to adjust accordingly because it's pretty permanent install now. Like this kind of where the speakers are going to be. So we got to work with it.
We got Jennifer out on YouTube land too.
Oh, yeah.
The subs are going up, man.
Right
Love
on.
to see everybody watching
Yep.
on YouTube.
Hello to everyone at YouTube.
Appreciate
I'm just looking
that.
at the old Facebook chat because that's kind of where we started and that's where it originated and that's where most of the action is. But if you do have
It's hard to
anything
watch them
happening
both
on
at once.
YouTube, yeah, Joe's over there. When is the Fuzzard album coming out? Ken asks. I don't have a specific release date. We're kind of chipping away. We have a couple studio days booked this month. We're going down to where are we going, Brad?
Catamount in Cedar Falls.
We're going down to a studio in Cedar Falls, Iowa called Catamount to do a mixed day down there with big SSL console, just kind of for fun. And also they're putting a song on some type of compilation down there. Catamount has offered to let us come down there and use the studio. So we're going to do that. And we're working away. They just shot more footage the other day for the first kind of proper full-length music video. Me and Brad popped in on that session for a little bit. So they're chipping away. There's not a hard date. There's not a hard release date yet, but I'm going to say it's coming out this year, probably.
Yeah. Next single will be mid to late April. We should be announcing that shortly.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll let you know. Once
Brett's
we
in
know.
the chat, too.
Brett's in the chat?
Yep.
Oh, well, Brett Petrusik, singer-songwriter for the Mighty Fuzzard. He could maybe answer that for you. Brett says, stoked about attention, blah, blah, blah. Just checking through. Diane, Apple Music got mine. I was thinking about this, and it's true, Diane. Stop paying Apple and all these people. I'm going to get you my PayPal account because I got a garage full of these records, man. And you be helping me out just as much as anybody else. Plus, I don't
Get
think
you a couple for one.
I don't think
sort
me,
of deal.
Dave, or anybody we know probably sees a dime if someone buys something from Apple Music at this point. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think I am. But neither here nor there. I got hard copies of that stuff. I'd love to just give you some. So whenever Soul Asylum plays a show again, which is going to happen sooner or later, damn it, and you're there, remind me ahead of time, and I'll bring you a stack of goodies because you have been nothing but a loyal friend and fan of all these shows, and we appreciate that. So where are we? It's time for probably Brad's Corner, isn't it?
Let's see what Brad's got going on.
Nobody puts Brad in the corner.
Sorry, Brad.
We just did, bro.
Talk to us, Brad.
I got a couple things. Hey, just put your beef stick down and get to work over there, Dunzo.
Joey Funyuns over here. Ooh, we're getting Brad on. We're getting Brad's Corner queued up.
I've got
Look out, ladies.
one
He's
new
single.
release to talk about, a couple album anniversaries, one special for Joe. New release that was just announced today and went up for pre-order. The band Signals Midwest, which, Jeremy, you might remember. They were from Cleveland.
Definitely remember that name.
And we played with them at Fest, at the second night of Fest when we were down in Gainesville. I love this band. I don't really know how to describe them. Punk band, but definitely like indie rock kind of influences, Americana kind of influences. So new 7-inch is out called I Used to Draw. I got my copy today.
Yeah, you
Their
did.
last record is called Pin, and that is That was one of my favorite records of the year 2 years ago.
Pin?
Pin, yeah.
Okay.
I'll pin a link to it here in the
Yeah, you
chat
did.
coming up. But yeah, definitely cool band. Check it out. Signals Midwest. I used to draw. They're 7 inches up for pre-order as of today. Only 200 copies out. Couple album anniversaries. I'll go through the first couple pretty quick here. Iron Maiden, The Number of the Beast, released 39 years ago yesterday.
Sick.
Anthrax Among the Living, released 34 years ago yesterday.
Slightly less sick, but cool.
22
Scotty.
years ago, 22 years ago today, Teen Idols released Pucker Up. Jeremy, do you remember that band?
Yep.
So Matt Yonker, who's now the drummer for Less Than Jake, was the drummer for that band.
Well, I wondered who ended up with that gig. I saw that obviously there was a change made there, but I didn't know who ended up with that job. There you go. Got it.
And Matt was also Less Than Jake's tour manager on that tour that we did with them.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, so that guy's now playing drums. But yeah, that Teen Idols record is really cool. 22 years ago today that came out. The last little piece I've got is special for Joe.
Why did we not do this? I guess we just didn't.
We've got a record that came out 30 years ago this coming Friday. Joe, do you have any guesses what this could be?
30 years ago this Friday.
Yeah.
Quick math.
91, yep.
LP by Rembrandt?
Nope,
That was 95, I think.
probably. That sounds about right.
LP.
I'll give you one more guess before I just drop it on you.
Just hit me.
Rod Stewart, Vagabond Heart.
Shit, man, no.
Man, that's Joe's jammy.
Incredible record.
Love that record, top to bottom.
We listen to that record a lot before the show starts sometimes.
Just giving away all our secrets, huh, Brad? All right.
Anytime I get a chance to just hit the playlist, I put that shit on.
Yep.
That record jam.
Yeah, I discovered this this anniversary about a month ago, and I was had to use all my willpower to keep it away from Joe until I could tell him on the show here.
Oh my God, man. Hold on. Man.
The craziest thing is
You lied to me.
the craziest
I
thing
can-
is that's Rod Stewart's 16th album.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, is that
Already?
Faces
Yeah.
and shit?
yeah, I don't.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I believe it.
Faces had some jams.
Hmm.
He's a bad dude.
Ice cold.
Yep. Yeah, so that's what I got this week.
Coming back to JT.
Nice work, Brad's Corner. Always a pleasure to hear from Brad back there in this
Middle of
corner.
the room, dude. I don't even know why we call it that.
It's not really the middle. He's on the side. It's not really a corner, I guess. But it doesn't sound like Brad's side of the room.
Brad's
Doesn't-
wall sounds weird.
Yeah. I mean, if anyone in the chat's got the right name for Brad's segment, feel free to get to work, This is a two-way street. You don't just get to sit back and watch us talk shit and work. You could work a little. So Brett says, he says, did you guys play the rad new video at the top of the show? So good. No, we didn't.
Thanks, Brett.
No, we didn't.
What video, man?
He opened up the Christmas presents early. Before we get to the video, I just wanted to think.
Brad's wing. I like that.
Brad's wing?
Brad's wing.
That's not bad.
It's like the West Wing.
It's like presidential. Sounds
for a fun
presidential.
fact, I think Brad sits on the. Well, no, he sits on the east side of the house. I take it back. Brad's wing.
I was thinking about this today. So I think before this year, and I'm going to show you what I'm jingling right here. Before this year, I think the last time that any music I was a part of came out on cassette was when I was still in high school. I'm pretty sure. I don't think anything. So I definitely was in a band in high school whose name I will not mention because I don't want you Google artists getting to it. Doesn't need to happen. But we definitely put out tapes because that was kind of like, kind of before CDs were. It was still expensive or whatever. You didn't have a CD recorder. My bands in high school had tapes for a while. So since then, I'm going to say probably at the latest 95 or 96, I have not had any music come out on cassette. This year, I got 2. So the Jonah record on cassette, if you're into this kind of thing, this came out on cassette. I haven't opened either of these yet. And then this bad boy came out on limited edition. How am I doing on the hold up there, Joe? Limited edition cassette, new Soul Asylum record with a gold tape inside. And if you order it, and I didn't get this because if you're in the band, I guess you don't get the cool perks. Only the fans get those. I get it. They come with a pencil, so you can wind the tape back in. You get a Soul Asylum pencil with this thing. These are limited to some amount. I don't know.
Do you own a cassette playing machine? Anything? Do you have
I
anything
do.
that
I
will
do.
play
I do
a
have
tape?
things that would play cassettes. Nothing at the ready. Is this anything I should be concerned about, Joe? Is this a my end thing or is this a real world thing?
That's a year-end thing at the moment. Brad sees
Yeah,
it. I see it.
Okay.
No, we're good. Yep.
A pencil.
I'll refresh. But yeah, so
Pencil.
Soul Asylum and Jonah on cassette. So it's been a couple years since I've had a couple of those. I'm into it.
The cassette thing's crazy, man. Like we're
It's like back, huh?
we're officially doing them at work now.
And why is it just nostalgia? Like because
Yeah.
it's hard to play them, right?
It's mostly a novelty thing. They're usually limited edition.
Well, cars don't even have like
No.
not anymore, right?
Nothing.
Right.
Cars don't have CD players.
Yeah, a lot of newer stuff doesn't even have CD
yeah, right.
players. But
Right, I
the
got it.
cassette thing, a lot of times, they'll be limited to 50 or 100 or a few hundred. You can do custom colors. A lot of people will include a download card
Right.
in there, so you
Sure.
can get the digital as well.
Makes sense.
I'm actually doing a project at work right now for one of my customers. Is the old hardcore band from out east called Marauder, and it's like their old demos from the 90s coming out for the very first time. It's coming out on cassette, CD, vinyl. It's crazy. But
I'm
we're
cool
doing the
with it.
cassette
I'm
and
cool with it.
and actually me personally, I've got I got clearance from the label that one of the bands I manage is on that I get to put out the cassette release of their new record.
Oh, cool.
Sick,
An
dude.
exclusive, limited. So I can't announce that yet, but it's going to be cool.
Seems like you just did.
Yeah, I gave all the details.
I love it though, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting. I guess people are listening to it. It's
I've got a stupid amount of cassettes at home,
how do they sound?
and I don't listen
Not
to them at
good.
all.
They don't sound good. Like
The
you don't
machines
get a
that
little
can play them.
yeah, like nothing plays it back unless you actually have like
If you got
something
like
decent.
Do you have
legit
your
old
Sony
school,
throwback like boombox?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
one of those.
I
And
have
how
some shit
good were
like
the
that. I think I
speakers?
still maybe I probably threw it away. I used to in the garage have the dubbing decent whatever the last cassette deck I had was, and then I had a CD burner for a long time.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Now I have a CD burner for my computer that just sits on a shelf. I can't think of the last time I even bought CDRs. Even that was like a thing for a long
Oh
time.
yeah. You gotta have a
I
stack.
got a
Send
speak-
everybody
right.
home with a rough mix.
Dude,
to
yeah,
listen
it'd be
to.
the end of the night, like, oh
Gotta
man,
burn 8 copies.
totally, and it's like real time on those bitches. Like, oh, cool, right. Or like maybe 2 times speed or whatever. Like, okay, these are only going to take 9 minutes apiece. Well, how many do we need? 7 of them.
See
We'll be
tomorrow.
out of here at 4. dude.
Totally, man. Oh man, I do not miss that stuff. But yeah, so we're still working on names. Brad's burner. Brad's burner's not bad.
Trent, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
Brad's burner is sick.
That's
Oh, good
not
ones you
bad.
got.
All right. Well, I love it. Let's keep finding it. So far so good.
Seems like we found it.
Brad's burner. I kind of see it. It does kind of have an oven vibe down here, and it's not hot down here tonight, but it does sometimes get a little hot down here. But yeah. So and then last week, so let's let people in on what we got here, right, fellas? It's time for that.
Sesh.
We don't have a
We'll pause
guest
the
tonight.
session.
We don't have a guest tonight. We don't really have whatever. There's been some studio stuff happening, but we also decided so we're doing this show. We're trying to be consistent with it. Like I said, we took last week off, but we worked that night and we did some stuff while we watched the old Musipolitics show, and we recorded both audio and video for a little thing here, which I'm going to show you, which is about a minute and a half long, not even. And basically, we started talking about okay, so what do we like about, or what do we not like about our current stream situation, whatever. And we started late tonight. That happens. Computer issues, all on my end, actually. But anyway, but I don't love sometimes we start that counter or whatever. I don't know. We were just talking about might be cool to have a beginning of the show, a little bumper, a little something, make a little something. We had the night off, but we could still get together. So we decided let's record some music and then we'll record a video and just, whatever. We'll come up with a minute long show intro, right? So we did that.
Boy,
and
did
we have
ever.
not. What's that?
I said, boy, did we ever.
Boy, did we ever. We're we're pretty high on ourselves right now, to be honest. But I think, it's basically Joe has done all the video editing. When we got done with the song that night, I just printed it. I figured out where the start and stop is. I made these markers, so no matter what I do to this mix, if I double click this, it's going to bounce the exact same length file. So I can update this mix. Joe can drop it right onto his video. Nothing changes. Everything's good. So it's done. I think it's done. We're signed off on the video, right?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah,
done other
video's
than
good.
we're going to
I mean,
do
we
a proper
can-
mix.
we can do whatever.
Right. We're going to do a proper mix on the song. I really bounced it super duper quick. The print, this stuff wasn't here. Obviously the stream mics weren't here, but I didn't even put anything on the master fader that night. I just printed literally what we had, which is drums. Looks like I did put a handful of microphones on the drum, or plugins rather, sorry, on the drums and the drum bus here. I've got 3 tracks of guitars, no plugins. We've got our 4 vocal tracks here, and they are bussed together. A couple plugins there, but
What you call a fader mix.
yeah, right. We did it down and dirty. Did a little bit of work to the drums to get a sound. Put a quick little bit of channel strip, and then some effects across all the vocals, all as one thing. And what else did we do? Literally, that's it. Yeah, just a couple drum plugins, a couple vocal plugins. Nothing to the few guitars or bass. Nothing to the individual vocal tracks. We're gonna put a little final mix on this, but we thought, why not? Why not? Since I was working on the soffit thing for the last few days, I didn't really have something specifically lined up for the show tonight. We knew we wanted to mix this audio for the video. Sorry, confusing. But again, the video is pretty much ready to roll. So I think what we're going to do is show you the video as it stands. Hopefully you laugh at it as much as we have. And then we're just going to tweak up this mix. We're going to tweak up this mix quick and get it ready to drop back in there. So it's, just sounds a little better, whatever. And then this, at least for the next little while, is probably going to be our new show intro. So instead of watching a clock count backwards, you'll watch this for a minute or whatever, and it'll give us time to get ready, So I think what we'll do is show you this video. I'm not going to set it up any further than that, I think, right? I think it'll speak for itself. It's only a minute long. We'll probably show it a couple times tonight. And then we're just going to mix this tune quickly and hang out with us for that. There's not many tracks. There's not much to do. It already sounds pretty cool. So this is really not going to take long. We're going to spend a little time on that. We'll mostly just hang out in the chat. So feel free to chat away or whatever. But I think as soon as Joe says we're ready here, I think we'll check out. Yeah, so here's our new show intro, minus freshening up the mix of the audio, but check out the new What's That Noise intro.
Hit him with the title.
Nah, we'll come back. We'll just check this out, peeps. Let us know what you think.
Kick it!
Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. 'Cause they always make it happen at What's That Noise? Busted. It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight. Let's go.
Yeah. So there it is, folks. That was our big idea. I don't remember exactly how it came down.
Thinking about that today, man. How did this happen?
We definitely talked about the idea of having an intro. I think we kicked around either like, what do we do? Do we just record some ambient music and make it like, dreamy shots of the studio or whatever? And then we definitely were like, fuck that. Let's have fun with it. At some
Right.
point, the song came up first, I think, right?
I don't remember.
I think the song came. I mean, there's certain. I don't remember who or how, but we decided like it might be funny to kind of do the Beastie Boys thing. Somehow the Tuesday night keep it tight
Yeah,
thing.
that's really
all
where
kinda,
it came from.
It all
Yeah.
came together pretty quick, and then it was just like, man, I could write a quick verse. We could do a verse and a chorus. We didn't take a look. How long? It's about a minute long. That's what we went with. So I don't know. It might evolve. We were talking about it. Maybe it'll evolve every once in a while. Maybe there'll be a new Easter egg in there. We can change the mix at any point. Maybe the lyrics will change once in a while. Maybe we'll do another one. First crack at it. But yeah, we did the song. The song came out hilarious. We shot the video because why wouldn't you shoot the video? Brad on bass, get out of town.
Who knew?
Yeah. I mean, I knew you had it in you, Brad.
Yep.
The people are into it.
Brett says guitars sound great. Cool. I haven't mixed them yet, so it should only just get better, hopefully. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I figured tonight, like I said, we got this little bit of mix work to do. It shouldn't take long. We can keep it pretty low key. We can work on this, and we'll have a new intro for a while. So, like I said, I hope you like it, because if any week you tune in, you're gonna see it first, and maybe last. I don't know. Maybe we got to make an outro.
I think that's
Ooh.
How do
just it.
TV shows work? Is it the same?
It's like
both?
the same tune, but maybe without the vocal on top. Usually, you
A
know what I
different
mean?
Video or something?
Yeah, yeah, and
Instrumental
just
mix,
something,
different
like
video?
B shots with credits over them. Scene
Maybe we
shot.
need an outro too. I don't know.
Oh shit! I just remembered how this came about, dude.
Okay, talk to me.
Well, okay, so I remember the original idea was like the Family Matters theme.
Yeah. And you sang that entire song to us.
I sang the entire theme song,
Uh-huh.
and you guys were like, "Joe, that was so beautiful. We need to find another song that you can sing."
After we were done tearing up.
Yeah.
Right.
From Beauty, yeah.
Right. Once
yeah.
we recovered from the sheer beauty of the vocal.
Beauty, yeah.
Also, Joe's vocal debut on this tune, huh?
Yeah, lead vocal debut.
So we did this. This was all Tuesday. So Brad and I first met over at the Fuzzard video shoot. We watched those guys jump around in a white cove while their song played really fucking gigantically loudly in this huge. It was like shocking in there. Those guys wonder why they can't hear anything. Ooh, Chuck says do the dance mix for the outro. That could be tight. Hi, Chuck. But yeah, so as me and Brad were kind of getting out of the Fuzzard video shoot, we were coming over here, and we knew that we were going to work on this tune and cut this video and do the thing. And we were both like, man, I hope Dunbar can sound like a Beastie Boy, because neither of us can for damn sure. And like for whatever reason, and Dunbar hasn't really sang on records or doesn't
do
sing
not
much.
sing.
Sang some
You
backgrounds.
don't want to hear it.
Sang some backgrounds in the band,
Yeah,
right? A little
yeah,
bit,
Yeah.
but not.
Turn that fader way down.
Yeah, he's a tenor vocalist, 10 or 15 dB lower than everybody
Yeah,
else.
that microphone wasn't plugged in.
Yeah, man. There's
Correct.
nothing there.
But yeah, and for whatever reason, like we were like, man, fuck, I hope he can do this, and we were both like, I don't know, it's just he's just gonna be able to. Like we just knew it, And Dunbar showed up, pumped up, and was like, I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but let's try it, And we started rolling. Like first pass, me and Brad were like, yep, this is perfect, man.
It takes a special person to be able to just shout into a microphone.
Yeah, and
Quiet.
and Joe learned what he already knew, but you learn quickly, like, if you're gonna go in a vocal booth and do that thing, like full range and full power and in the top of your range, like that's hard on your voice. We did a couple passes of a song that's a minute long, and you could feel it.
Oh, and I was like done.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So when people can, when vocalists can go into a booth and sing like crazy for an hour or 2 hours, it's like, I don't know. Don't forget that that's pretty incredible. Like it's hard to sing well for 3 minutes. And now do it for an hour or two. But yeah, Joe killed it. Me and Brad threw some backgrounds on there. We went crazy with the video shoot.
That just
We
came
did it.
together.
We did the whole thing in really like, I don't know, 3 hours, 4 hours. It wasn't too bad. Everything got done but a quick mix. So we're going to mix it up. And I don't know. Anyone else got anything else to add? Other than that, I suppose maybe I'll start throwing some plugins on this. I will keep an eye on the old chat here. Feel free to chat us away, because again, there's not a whole lot to do tonight. I'll probably just quick turn the vocals off. Drums already have some plugs. I'll look at those a little more. I'll just dial in these guitars and bass. Again, quickly, there's 3 faders of guitars. There's 1 bass fader, 4 vocal mics. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to do but hang out and do what we do. So I'm going to dig in a little bit. Like I said, hit us up in the chat. Happy to have you back on Tuesday. We'll probably be more organized next week. I say probably because maybe not, likely not.
I'm burning paper.
Yeah. Joe's lighting paper on fire.
I believe that was money.
Just, if you just light, every once in a while I look back and Joe just lights a 20 on fire. It doesn't say a word. He just winks at you.
It's big time.
Yeah.
Hollywood Joe
Big
Dunbar.
time Dunbar. Yeah. He'll just give you a slow wink. Yeah. I don't know. That's how he's living. It's how he's living, folks. So yeah, I'm gonna mix this ridiculous song. As you can see, the 4 vocal faders are Bust It, because that had to have its own track. That's got to be real special. And then you got, this is before the very first vocal we did. Actually, was this one before I got creative. So you got Joe vocal, you got Bust It, you got Brad Rock. Gotta have that.
Bust It was the last thing that we did.
Bust It was the last thing. Yeah. So it actually should appear this way. So yeah, unfortunately, Joe didn't get a sweet nickname. Brad got Brad Rock because it's obvious, and then I ended up Jay Tizzle, 3 Z's, because that's how I do it. Yep. Just for the people that are really keeping score on the mixed notes.
We better make sure it's spelled correctly on your gold
Those
chain.
are all the notes. Those are all the notes. These 3 guitars are labeled as such: guitar 1, guitar 2, guitar 3. As you can see, like when I'm down here doing it down and dirty, like I don't give a shit. No one else is ever going to see the session but me and now everybody watching. But yeah, I know what it is. There's nothing to it. So yeah, I'm going to do a little mixing, chat away. Thanks for hanging. Yeah. Au naturel. It's all in the fingers. The tone is all in the fingers, Trent. Come on, man. You should know this. clean. Right, if you're on earbuds, I just bought you a set of earbuds probably.
And I'm sitting in a pocket.
Right. So I'm also kind of using this opportunity. This is the first work. We've been listening through the speakers now that they're in this office, but I haven't really done any work at all yet. First session that's been open through this office. So finding stuff. I'm spending a little extra time right now, A, because I can, and B, because first time hearing it this way, and I'm finding it's so far it seems very effective. Was looking specifically, like I dumped this is my kick drum out or sub kick microphone. So it's just low frequencies anyways. When it's printed, it goes through this graphic EQ. You can actually almost see down here. So it's got a little bit of mid-range roll-off. All the high end is gone. So it's just a low-frequency microphone. I then took this plug-in that is on that channel and dumped the bottom down all the way to 30 hertz, which is as low as this plug-in will go. Put it on Bell and started listening to it, and then started playing with the filter. Boosted the 30 to hear what that sounded like through the speakers. Sounded great, and you can definitely hear it that low. You can hear what it's doing. And I was able to put it up to +9 or more, and it sounded clear. Like I felt like I could work. I don't know. Felt like I could work on those low frequencies. So I guess so far, big time thumbs up on the walls, on the speakers in the walls. We're hearing some nice low frequency stuff. So this is fun. This is fun for a couple reasons to mix this tune for the kind of. I'm in the same studio I've been in for a couple years, but it feels like the first time I'm working in here because things changed a lot in the last 4 days. So, I don't know. Side note, footnote. bottom. Joe is asking, I may as well answer. I'm assuming people are just kind of hanging out, not a whole lot of chatting going on, but this was all through the HX, my P bass through the HX on like an SVT sound that I created, kind of a dirty SVT sound. And then these were left and right was, I forget, I made patches, but high gain patches. I made a patch that put on the left and right, made a different patch that I kind of put on the center, or just a little off center in this case right now. Maybe to go back to center, who knows. But again, all HX stomp, high gain stuff. One guitar, I tuned the guitar down a little bit, so I didn't want to tune a bunch of my guitars down. So all 3 guitar tracks, which are all just playing the same part, are all my Gibson Explorer. I think I'm just going to bust these babies up. Why not? Quick bust for all 3 of them so I can just EQ them all as one thing. Everyone remember our trick? We'll do it together.
I was just going to say, what is
you
it?
highlight all of them. You go to the last one. You click on this guy and you ask it for a new track. Then label it right here, guitar bus. This would be done, but because I have a router, I then have to remember to then take this and make sure it goes out of the router. But that's a huge time saver that I had forgotten about for a long time, and then I would see people use it and be like, oh, right, that thing, and I would remember how to do it or relearn how to do it, and then I'd forget about it again. We were on the stream one day, and we asked Ian, who was in the chat, Ian Combs, and he told us how to do it. Because we couldn't remember. Again, but same thing would happen to Joe. He'd forget, whatever. But yeah, he told us how to do it. We've been doing it ever since. It's a huge time saver if you need to bust a bunch of stuff together quickly. because I can hear so well. It's like because I can hear so well, I made the snare drum too hi-fi for the song, but I could hear it. Like, oh wow, that snare bottom is really bright, and that's cool. And if this was like a Mariah Carey song, that'd be slick to be way detailed way up there. This is down and dirty, and that thing sticks out like it's shiny, and that thing's chrome, and the rest of this thing is supposed to be rusty. That's the way I'm seeing it. So we're getting rid of that right now. We're gonna rust it up. Brandy's got a question. Glad to answer a question. I got into producing and mixing really young because, like I was saying earlier, my dad, as I was growing up, my dad was always in a band. He was in the same band from 79 to, 90 and change. Basically 1990, Nevermind, whatever year that was. What year did Nevermind come out? That's kind of the year his band ended. That's because, I got into producing and mixing and this whole thing because the drummer of his band, my dad was in a band called Spooner from Madison, Wisconsin. The drummer of his band is a guy named Butch Vig, who has gone on to produce a whole bunch of records that you have listened to. Namely, Nevermind was the big one, the big first thing that kind of, he had been making records for a long time. Nevermind put him on the map, but what I tell people and what is totally true is that, again, I don't remember what year Nevermind came out. 94? 3? I don't know.
3 probably?
Somewhere in there, right? I idolized Butch in 1983. Way before Nevermind, way before any of that stuff. Butch was always played drums. He played drums in my dad's band, and he had a place called Smart Studios with him and a guy named Steve Marker that started very basic, very... they started as a very small studio, 8-track studio, and even as a youngster, 5, 6, 7 years old, I remember getting to pop in there once in a while as my dad was recording. Obviously, the fact that Butch was the drummer of my dad's band meant that that band was a perfect guinea pig often for recording, or if there was nothing going on, that band would be in there. I got to see that early, and like I said, I always thought Butch was just super cool. I wanted to play drums. Oh, she says 1991. So there you go. Yeah. I always played drums as a youngster. Thought it was, I wanted to play drums and make records because that's what Butch did. And I just, like I said, way before the world knew about Butch Vig, I thought he was super cool. So I wasn't surprised at all when Nevermind came out and he blew up or whatever. I was like, yeah, I knew that. I knew that when I was 7. But yeah, so that's how I got into it. Like I said, I got bit early. I got bit by the bug early because I was around it and was just like, wow, that. The times I got to go by the studio as a super young kid, you're not there long, but I was already playing music or whatever and doing the thing. So it's like you get to see all your favorite stuff. All the gear is there. It's probably the most gear you've ever seen. And it's whatever the studio environment is. It's like the first time you see that. That's cool. And then, your dad's band is in there and everyone's joking. It looks like they're having the fucking time of their lives in there. So you're like, that's what that's his job. I want to do that job. So I kind of decided I wanted to do that job about 8 years old, and here I am.
Take your kid to work day.
Right. Fast forward to now, I'm still doing it. And when I'm not doing it, I'm cutting holes in the wall so I can hopefully do it better next time. So that's where I'm at, for better or worse. But yeah, we're getting there. We're shining up. Our drums and bass are starting to sound cool. Let's just talk about, I just kind of got into a little work zone. Even Joe made a joke. I listened to the drums for, 10 minutes or 7 minutes or whatever. And Joe's like, oh, wow. I turned the bass on. He's like, oh, right. I forgot what song this was. Because I just went in the zone.
Jennifer on YouTube says her mom told her that she worked with Butch in Madison
Yeah, that would have been
at a lab
Smart
that
Studio.
tested water.
Oh, okay.
Get a water testing.
Interesting. I
So
wonder if
you
that was
think it
like
was
when
right-
Butch was still in college.
I mean,
Or
she
something.
says she thinks it's the right person.
Could be.
I mean, how many Butch Vigs are in Madison? At
Not a lot of Butch Vigs not a lot of Butch Vigs.
I've seen a couple these days, but
He's got a brother that floated around in Madison named Chris Vig as well. They look kind of similar, but not in the music biz per se. Another kind of 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is later on. Butch obviously after Nevermind produced a Soul Asylum record, so that's kind of interesting. I remember I knew about Soul Asylum prior to that record, obviously, and I think I owned it. I don't know. I owned the first couple records. Found out about them in high school or whatever, but I did, for what it's worth. As I watched Butch's career grow, I certainly followed everything. So when he worked with Soul Asylum, I remember kind of being like, becoming re-interested in like, oh yeah, Soul Asylum, and I like that. I love that record. Still love playing Misery, and I can hear some of the Butch Vig. Impact on that tune. So I don't know. Fun full circle thing that I'm now playing songs that Butch produced in 1993 or 4 or whatever. So kind of cool.
Cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? Busted. It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight. Let's party. Kick it. Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. Cause they always make it happen, and what's kick it? Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. Wake up in the morning. Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. Cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? Busted. Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. Cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? Busted. It's Tuesday night. Busted. Busted.
You know that Busted gets its own EQ.
Busted. 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 It's Tuesday night. Keep it. It's
Speaking of keep it tight, that's what happens when you record it in like an hour and don't do anything. You get a couple of loud edits. we're not really keeping it super tight. Actually, I'm rushing. Brad's dragging. Joe's fucking somehow the closest. Goddamn Twilight Zone. None of that makes sense. But since that one is a gap all on its own, we're going to give it a little bit of love just on the front word there. And we're going to get rid of breaths and stuff like that. We're going to keep it tight.
It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight.
Should probably just do the due diligence. At least just tighten these all up a little bit. Breaths and whatnot. I was thinking about this, like, I don't think I'm going to do it, but I remember, like, if we really were going for, like, the Beastie Boys thing, like, I forget what it is, but it's, like, something like either somewhere around 1K or 3K, like, their thing is they just take it all off. They take it all off the mix.
Big scoop.
No, it's like, they just roll the top off. Like, they
They're out?
yeah. Like,
Gee,
that's
you're talking like a low pass.
That's part of at least on the early records, that was part of their sound to, like, kind of make it lo-fi. They just literally take all the top end off the record.
Huh.
Yep, like in the mix.
Is that Rick? Who makes that call?
Yeah, it could have been old Rick. Could have been old Slick Ricky. I feel like this thing's close.
Mm-hmm.
What's the chat say? Not much.
Brad's talking about the Pumpkins.
Oh, good.
I was listening to
Yeah.
the Pumpkins earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Brandy was talking.
speaking of
Brandy was
Butch
asking
Vig.
if Butch Vig did the a Pumpkins record. which-
Butch did Siamese Dream and the one before it, Gish, which
Gish,
are
yep.
my two personal
Yeah,
favorites.
Siamese is pretty untouchable. For
Siamese
me.
is untouchable, and Gish was literally the indie rock version of Siamese. It was before they had the budget, before they had the money. They made Gish in, I don't know, 2 weeks or something, or maybe 3 weeks, and I think Siamese they had 3 months or whatever. So they finally got to do the thing. I got to watch. It was really interesting to watch, and it makes sense to me. I got to watch Butch talking a little bit about working with Billy, and just kind of like I really related to what he said, in the fact that, like, he got lucky with Billy early in his career. Obviously, the Nirvana thing was like lightning strike. No one, no matter how much power anyone thought Nirvana had, or whatever they thought they had pre-Nevermind, no one could have anticipated what happened with Nevermind. But with Billy and him, like, they got to work together for 3 weeks or whatever, and they, like, Butch, I believe, as he kind of put it, he was like, I met my match in the studio, as far as like a dude who was in a band, who had great songs, who had capability to do all this stuff, but also was driven to, like, work in the studio endlessly and tirelessly, and, like, to get it to whatever level of perfection they both could agree upon. And Butch, as the producer, is supposed to kind of be the hard ass, and is the hard ass who's like, no, not good enough, got to sing it again. And, for the first time with Billy, he was like, Billy was fine with, never kind of gave up or whatever, and was like, understood that this is for the greater good, and I'll sing it 1,000,000 times if I have to, and he always stuck it out. And then there were even times where Butch would be like, cool, got it, and Billy would be like, especially guitars and stuff, Billy would be like, that's not it yet. Like, Billy wanted to keep going even past Butch's net or whatever. So as a record maker, I mean, I've talked to Brad and other, like Evan and other record makers as well, about this, like, that can be a difficult thing. Like, and when you get, in Butch Vig's case, when you end up with a Nevermind, your phone starts ringing, you get to pick and choose who you're working with. Then you can really you get to become Rick Rubin-esque in the fact that, like, he only, at this point, only essentially makes great records because he only works with great artists, because he gets to pick and choose. It's not just like, oh shit, I got to work. Who's booking time? Like, it's just a different thing. And I love recording any bands and any records, but really the only way I really get to grow is, like, I mean, I get engineering chops by just turning bands quickly. If someone wants to book 2-3 days and we go in and we do our thing, I learn something every time. But as far as, like, producer, real record maker, career thing, like, you need that thing. You need, like, I need that artist the same way Butch needed Billy. Like, you need someone who's willing to go all the way there, and then on top of that, someone has to pay for it. It's like, whatever, and that can mean a million different things. I work often for next to nothing for people or whatever. I like to work on good music. I'll do what I have to do to facilitate that. But in a perfect world, someone needs to get paid, and someone needs to get paid to be able to stretch it out and say, we want perfection. We want these to be a certain way, and if it takes 3 months in this beautiful studio, then so be it. That's all fun to say until it's like, okay, everyone get your checkbook out, and like that sucks. But whatever. I don't know. I just the point being, I really related to Butch kind of pointing out that he felt really lucky to meet Billy when he did, because without a Billy, he couldn't have gotten to that next step. You can be the best producer in the world in your mind, but if you're not working with a great band, who are you applying it to? Who's going to hear your work? What doesn't matter? You know what I mean? Like, it has to go somewhere. And Butch made it go all sorts of places, still does. He's making records with Green Day and Foo Fighters, and has had a long career as the drummer and producer of Garbage, and the list goes on and on. He's a badass, so more power to him. Trying to do what he's doing.
Kick it! Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys, 'cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? Kick it! Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys, 'cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? It's Tuesday night, keep it tight. Let's go!
I mean, this might be there. I don't know.
Janine says, LOL, nice.
You wait until you see the video, Janine. Which, if you hang out just a little bit longer, you probably will. Don't need to hear the kick it again. I do, because I automated it down a little bit.
Kick it!
Still a little hot, right? Since there's just no music yet.
Kick it! Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys, 'cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? It's Tuesday night, keep it tight. Let's go! Let's go! So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys, 'cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? It's Tuesday night, keep it tight. Let's go! So folder and send it to the boys, 'cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? It's Tuesday night, keep it tight. Let's go! So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. 'Cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight. Let's party. Kick it. Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. 'Cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight. Let's party.
I think we're satisfied. I think I'm satisfied. We can always
Sounds
change it
good.
again. So it's only a minute long. I'm going to print this bad boy. We'll probably show you, if anyone's here that wasn't here before, we made a video to accompany this already. We dropped the placeholder mix in there. Joe will take this new mix home tonight and dump it in or whatever, but we'll play you the video again. We played it earlier. This is going to be the intro to our show for the foreseeable future because we decided it might be fun to have an intro. This is what we came up with. Maybe we'll make another one down the road. Maybe we'll make an outro, blah, blah, blah. But this is where we're at so far, and I'm digging it, man. I think the video is hilarious. I think it came out absolutely great. It's kind of, we had fun in the fact that we kind of came up with a concept, picked the day. We're like, all right, let's try to do a Beastie Boys kind of Fight for Your Right vibe. We'll just shoot a video here. We'll come up with a verse and chorus or whatever. We'll pick a day. We'll do it. We decided to do that. We picked a day. We did it. Kind of start to finish. The idea never really changed. We just went for it. And it was literally like, as those guys were coming over that day, when we talked about it, we're like, maybe we'll just have the chorus. We won't do verses. Maybe we won't have any lyrics. It'll just be music. And we're like, nah, you got to, it's the Tuesday night, keep it tight, let's party. It's too good to skip it, So then it was like, shit, maybe we need a verse because it's going to be a verse and a chorus long and blah, blah, blah. So I like literally kind of wrote something and I sent those guys a text and was like, maybe we do need a verse. Here's what I got. Feel free to tweak it or change it or whatever. And I think Brad wrote 30 seconds later back like, well, pretty much nailed that. So it was just like, fuck it, man. We are doing this thing. What is the title of this song again, gentlemen? You guys have a title for it.
It is officially called Fight for Your Right to Keep It Tight.
Fight for your right to keep it tight. That's a lot to type in here. I'm not doing all that. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see what it looks like. So it's fight for your right to keep it tight. So that's what it is. It's for Fritkit. For Fritkit. Mix one. I'm gonna print it. Old Dunbar will show you the video, and then we'll wrap her up for the night. It's been a blast hanging out. Yeah, it was. Thanks for the question about how did I get into this. If I hadn't answered that earlier, that was a fun little sidebar. I love telling that story because I'm lucky enough to have a cool story. It's not like I went to IPR for 4 years and spent $90,000, and like no offense to those guys, but kind of offense to those guys. Fuck it. I don't care. Some kids come out of there and they're actually talented. Some kids go there and get it like a $90,000 sheet of paper. And, mom and dad were happy they went to school. They just smoked pot and made beats for however many months. That's what happened. And you got a sheet of paper. Welcome to the music business. Good luck, I did it old school. I idolized dudes in the studio and bought a 4-track and figured it out, and here I am, however many 30-some years later, 40 almost years later, continuing to figure it out. Lucky, I say it all the time. I'm lucky two things. Music, I feel like, chose me, and it did it early. You know, a lot of people don't know what they want to be all the way through college and shit. People are like, I don't know. I knew at 5 I wanted to be a musician. Still feel the same way about it. So here I am making Beastie Boys covers with Joe Dunbar, Brad Gunnarsson. I can live in the dream.
It's everything you thought it was going to be.
And
right?
more, my friends.
Nightmares are dreams too.
You know. So we're going to print this bad boy. You listen to her one more time. Here's the new mix, and then we will show you the video one more time, and then we'll wrap it up for the night, and we'll call it a Tuesday night here at the old studio. So here comes this print. I got our acronym, or whatever you want to call it.
Alphabet.
Yeah, alphabet kit. I'm going to print her down. Here it is now mixed and mastered. Again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. We didn't do much. Threw a little compressor on the bass. Sounded awesome immediately. Guitars I bust together. I used this EQ twice because I used 2 different bands on it. So I added a little 1-5 here. And then I took this one and cranked it up to 5-6, add a little bit there. That's totally an Eric Valentine ripoff. He loves this EQ, he uses it everywhere, and I often see him stacking them like that so he can get 2 bands out of the same EQ, essentially. So we did that, and then we did de-essers on the vocals just to get rid of those S's. I'm hearing frequencies in the wall like I've never heard down here before, in a positive way, going higher and lower. I feel like the moves that I made are going to be super informative. It's going to take a minute to readjust and kind of relearn how it sounds, but I feel like I said, I feel like the reach is higher and lower in the frequency spectrum. So I'm hoping for the best. You know, I feel real good. I think that it's going to be a big improvement. And like I was saying to these guys, it might have just really leveled up the monitoring, not by changing any equipment, but just kind of maximizing my space. I'm lucky in the fact that, you know, not a lot of people can do this. You put the speakers on stands and you put them where you can because you work wherever you can work. I have gone out of my way to purpose build this space. So why not continue to, you know, find the purpose and continue to build all of it. So, you know, I don't know. I'm really stoked. It didn't cost me much. I'm going to go sell my old speaker stands. I'm probably going to make money when it's all said and done, other than the hours I put in. If I paid myself for the hours, it was an expensive fucking project. But short of that, it was cheap. I had most of the materials. I had most of the tools. It was just a lot of, you know, it was 2 trips to Menards. The most expensive thing was a couple of pieces of PVC tube that me and Joe bought the other day that I actually couldn't use anyway, so I kind of flushed that money down the toilet. But other than that, I had a lot of the wood trim left and was able to reuse, so it just took time. But it's awesome. So really stoked on that. We're going to print this tune like I was saying 5 minutes ago before I sidebarred, and then, yeah, we'll be right back.
Kick it! Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys, 'cause they always make it happen. And what's that noise? It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight. Let's go.
All right, so that is new mix printed. I'll send that to the desktop and we'll get that dropped into the thing, and that'll be cool. There it is. So yeah, if you weren't here earlier, you didn't get a chance to see this video yet, why don't we show it to him, Joe? We'll show it to you one more time, and then we'll come back and we'll say goodbye and we'll wrap it up for tonight. I had fun tonight. But I definitely want anyone that wasn't here before to see the video, and if you were here before, you know you want to see it again.
Kick it! Wake up in the morning, time to check that mix. It was rocking last night, today it sounds like shit. So you put it in a folder and send it to the boys. 'Cause they always make it happen, and what's that noise? Busted. It's Tuesday night. Keep it tight. Let's party.
There you go. Round 2. How was it the second time around?
Much worse.
I believe I believe it was Brad the other day that texted to the chain. I just watched it about 50 times and it's still awesome.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think that was exact quote. I didn't want to paraphrase, you know. Yeah, so there you go. That's gonna be our guy for a while. That's gonna be our new intro. We had fun making it. We did it kind of, we did it quick, but I think it came out great. It was fun to, like I said, have a quick idea like that, actually execute it pretty much right down the line. I started working on the track and sent a video clip to these guys, and it was just like, it's on. We were joking about this shit. We're actually doing it, and we did it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a blast with it. Winkleman likes it. Janine likes it. P. Wink in the house. Dude, I've been watching your Paul's Pro Tips here.
Dude, I can't stop after you show this.
Oh, man. I love it, dude. I absolutely love it. Paul, by the way, I didn't forget about you in making the rack. I don't know how long you were watching. I did a bunch of construction over here the last few days that I was talking about earlier. But also, I just got a wild hair, man, to make my own rack. So I ended up making it. So I didn't bail on you or forget about it. I just kind of wanted to take my own crack at it. I've been watching your fucking Pro Tips, bud. So we made her pretty fucking tight, as you can see here, bud. You'll have to come take a look sometime.
That's pretty good.
Paul knows what I'm talking about. Paul knows, and so does Brad. I'll show you a little. You haven't seen Paul's Pro Tips yet, Dunbar. I'll hip you. Have you?
I was here with Brad.
Okay, but I didn't realize you were here for the good shit.
Always back here.
But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. That's what we got for you tonight. We had a good time. Next Tuesday, up in the air. Topic is up in the air. Plan is up in the air because it's only this Tuesday. Next Tuesday is a whole bunch of days away from now. So, we'll try to come up with something good for you. If you got any suggestions or whatever, let us know. Haven't heard from Sam in a while. We got to reach out and see how he's doing.
Yeah, that whole Texas thing happened, and
Yeah. So that song's just kind of on ice. I mean, there's plenty of stuff to do. Like I said, tonight, I've mentioned Attention before. Tonight you heard a couple Attention songs. I mentioned that we had been over at Flowers doing some work. We're going to be back over there tomorrow. We'll catch some footage over there. Nothing live, but we'll catch some footage for down the road over there. At some point, I could introduce the stream to Attention. We made a bunch of full-length albums. We made a couple EPs. I literally have a shelf full of hard drives with, I don't know, probably a couple hundred songs that I wrote and recorded with those guys over many years. So we could dig into that at any point. I don't know. That's a whole thing. There's a lot there. There's a lot there to take in. So, but whatever, we'll figure it out. Maybe it'll be that. Maybe it'll be something else. I'm going to be remixing some Scarlet Haze stuff soon, Brad. I don't know if you're aware of this yet because it's brand new. I don't even have the drive yet. But I think I'm going to be remixing some of the old classic Scarlet Haze tunes.
Nice. Yeah, we were talking about Cat a little bit last
We talked about Cat a little bit for those who don't know. Maybe we'll get some of that on here. But there's a band that was from here called Scarlet Haze, kind of a hard rock band fronted by this awesome female rock and roll chick here in the Twin Cities named Kat Perkins, who went on to be on The Voice and did great on The Voice, made it like, to the almost end.
Speaking of people who can sing their ass.
Yeah, she can sing. Kat can sing. She can sing. Kat's a badass. I got to play with her later on. I played with her solo band, the Kat Perkins Band, for about a year and a half until I kind of ended up in the Soul Asylum world. But I absolutely love Kat. I produced the Scarlet Haze record towards the end of their career before she ended up kind of going solo, and I think I'm going to go back and remix some of that stuff. She wasn't happy with the mixes. She's got the rights to some of it back. She's trying to release some of her back catalog. I don't know if I should be talking about any of this. Anyway, that might be happening. Just never mind all that shit I just said. But I'd like to bring Kat on here anyway, because Kat is awesome. She is a journey woman. She's been singing and playing in and out of, nice venues, shitty bars, all of it for many, many years now. She's the real deal, and she can sing her fucking ass off. There's just no better way to say it than that, I've had Joe Dunbar over at the studio when I've had her in the booth working on stuff, and Joe can attest, she'll give you goosebumps right through the glass. You're like, God damn, that's her singing that right now?
Yeah,
like,
man.
that shit sounds like a record right now. It's like,
I remember her
Yeah.
listening in the talk back one time, and I was like, wow. And she was like, oh, we were talking about, you two were talking about, like, if she should change anything or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, and she was like, what? Well, should we change it? And I was like, no, that's just goddamn.
that was,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, she's
Wow.
real. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that do a really good job, and then there's singers, real, bona fide, like born with it. She's got a tone. She's a real deal. Anyway, she's awesome. We'll talk to her soon. But yeah, we'll find out what's cracking. I don't know. Next week, I don't know, but we'll do our best to bring you something fun. We do our best to make things right, and week to week in between, we always keep it tight.